So guys, this is the Speak Easy podcast where we talk about the behind the scenes of what it is to be the successfully paid speaker and author. But not only that, you know that as a speaker and author, you're also an entrepreneur. So guys, we're talking about what it is that you could be doing to make sure that you have that transformation going all into effect and that this is your epic year. So Sean, tell them a little bit about yourself and then we'll dive into today's topic.
Yeah, so speaker, trainer, author, international radio show host, a master resilience implementer teaching resilience skills. And I speak on resilience, leadership, team building and team performance, and business strategies. And I'm known as the resilience guy. So teaching resilience along with everything else, that's my red thread. Resilience is my red thread that's woven throughout everything I do.
And you know, right now, resilience is like, whew, is the word of the day, right? It's almost our Mr. Rogers word of the day, because with everything that's going on, people are literally trying to figure things out. They're trying to understand what's going to come next. And the reality is we don't know what's going to come next. So in thinking about, you know, this being your epic year, but we know that life still happens, situations still go on. So what would be that thing that you would tell them to get them over that hurdle, over that hump to get started this year?
Well, everybody right now is starting to find out with the shutdowns and everything that you need multiple streams of income because they've been relying on the paycheck to paycheck. And there was a stat earlier that said something like something crazy, like 70% or 60% or something like that of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And they don't have an emergency fund set up. They don't have other bank accounts set up. And so people are quickly finding out that when you rely on one income, you're going to starve and your family is going to suffer. So the first thing I tell everybody to do is find multiple streams of income. I don't care if you have to create a $10 ebook. I don't care if you have to shovel snow, rake leaves, wash cars. I don't care if you have to go and walk people's dogs. Like, you find ways to create different streams of income. That way, when one income stream dries up, you have other income streams to carry you forward.
I definitely have to agree with you there. You know, this is the thing, though. Let's be honest. When people think multiple streams of income, they think, okay, so now I should braid hair and fry chicken and babysit babies and wash cars, and now I should try to carve out totem poles, even though I don't know how the heck to do that. So when we think about, having multiple streams of income, explain that in a little more detail.
Yeah, so right now I have 6 streams of income. So I have, in my business, I have the speaker, which I'm currently stuck in Atlanta airport because there's flights that are delayed. So I've been sitting here for a while because my plane was supposed to leave a while ago, but here I am. And so you got speaking, like in person, doing in-person workshops, in-person trainings, corporate trainings, what have you. Then another stream of income is I'm a published author, so I have a book. And then I created an ebook. So there's another stream of income is I have an ebook that specifically tells people how to get booked. There's one stream. I have my radio show that takes sponsorships. And so I get paid for my radio show that takes sponsorships and advertising and different things like that. So that's another stream. And then another stream of income is mentoring, coaching, whatever you want to call it. I work with entrepreneurs, speakers, and business owners. So when I'm not on the road or not serving in the military, which is another stream of income, then I have that to fall back on. So if the government gets shut down and they're not paying the military, I have 6 other streams of income that I can use to rely on to pay for whatever I need to pay for and to make sure that my family is fed.
And so, again, it's literally sometimes it's taking that one thing and replicating it in different areas. Sometimes it's taking, because we know that, repurposing content is, as a podcaster, as a radio host, that repurposing content is life.
Oh, 100%. 100%. If you're not repurposing your content, I create almost 100 pieces of content a week. So literally I post 4 times a day. I post 4 times a day at 8 a.m., noon, 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. Those are my posts. And then in between those will maybe be like a small video promoting a podcast. It'll be me promoting an article that I wrote on Medium or LinkedIn or that I was featured in. But either way, a minimum of 8 pieces of content are created every day because I'm doing the radio show. I'm doing some mentoring. I'm doing other things. And so the 4 mandatory ones, and then I'll create 3 to 4 more. So even if I did 7, right, I do 7 pieces of content every day for 7 days. You're looking at 49 pieces of content. If I only do 7 a day for 7 days, that's 49 pieces of content. But then there's other things like Facebook memories. Facebook memories come up and you're like, oh, I remember posting that meme like a year ago. I'm going to take that meme and I'm going to repost it on LinkedIn, or I'm going to take that one piece of content that I made, some little article that I wrote, I'm going to repurpose that, put it over to LinkedIn. Now you've doubled. Every piece of content becomes 2. And then if you take that video and you put it on LinkedIn, which LinkedIn loves video, if you put a small little video on LinkedIn, you put a small little video on Facebook, and you put a small little video on YouTube, you've now taken one piece of content and repurposed it 3 times. And then if you got Instagram and Snap and Twitter and Twitch and everything else, like if you have all these other platforms, that one piece is posted on every single platform. One piece can give you 7 pieces of content.
And that's the thing. I think people, they hear content, and because everybody's always talking about, create a content calendar, and
editorial calendar,
and they're like thinking that it's immediately, they think I have to go back to school and now I got to create something. Now I got to do this dissertation. Like immediately that's where their mind goes. But in reality, creating content is not that difficult.
Right. 100%. 100% agree with you. The one thing that people don't realize how easy it is to create content. You just document your day. So my 8 a.m. posts are always something about resilience because I speak on resilience. My noon posts are always something on either leadership or something business related because I speak on leadership and business topic, like business positioning. At 4 p.m., I either do a Facebook Live that I can cut down into YouTube videos or whatever I want to cut it down to. I can strip the audio. I can do whatever I want. Make it as you can take your Facebook Live, strip the audio, and then make it into a podcast. Like if you use Zoom, we were talking earlier, Zoom records an audio and it records a video. Take the audio, put it into a podcast. You literally have a Facebook Live and a podcast. You've now doubled your amount of content that you have, right? So the thing that people don't realize is that you can set it out to where 8 a.m. I only talk about this one thing. Noon, I only talk about this one thing. At 4, I only talk about this one thing. At 8 p.m., I only talk about this one thing. Do you know why I choose those times? Because 8 a.m. is on Eastern time, and if you go back 3 hours, for those 3 hours, people are waking up, and the first thing they do is they check their phones. That's the first thing they do. And guess what they're going to see when they check their phone early in the morning is my content. And then at noon, and you work yourself back 3 hours to Pacific, that's when everybody's taking a lunch or everybody's taking their first break at 9 a.m., at 10, at 11, at 12. They're taking their breaks and they're taking their lunch. And then at 4 p.m., everybody is starting to wind down for the day, right? Everybody's starting to get ready to go home or whatever they're doing. But if you work back 3 hours, people are starting to come off a lunch or they're taking another break. And then 8 p.m., they're going to check their phone for one last time. One last time, they're going to check their phone. And they're going to see my content because I'm posting at 8 p.m. when they're starting to put their phones away. And if you go back 3 hours to 5 p.m. back in California, they're starting to go home. They're starting to wind down for their work day. So I chose those times, those 4 times, because that is the most amount of time that people are on their phones, no matter what time zone you're in.
Exactly. And people miss that part. That's the part where, somebody said that if I post, then, I can get all these likes and engagement.
Oh, geez.
And
you're missing the point.
Just post this. No strategy.
Right. If you're worried about the likes that you get on a post, right, and you're judging your content based on your likes, you're absolutely 1,000% wrong and you're missing the point. I get messages all the time Literally, I got 2 messages today. Hey, have a safe trip. Love your content. I looked back at my content. I looked at my likes. This person has never liked anything that I've posted. And I'm like, I'm glad that you like it. I didn't know because you didn't like the post. And you know what they say? Oh, I usually don't comment on posts or like posts. I just don't do that. I'll just message the person. So there's one person that told me that they loved the content that I was putting out, but I would never know because they don't like or comment on posts. That's just their prerogative. They just don't do that. They consume the post, they take notes, and then they'll message somebody directly and go, love your content.
Exactly.
And they said that doing that means more to them because they've actually hit a nerve inside of themselves that say, you know what, I really like that that content so much, I'm going to go ahead and contact the person who originated that.
Exactly.
But I would never know if they liked it because they never like or comment on it or share it.
That happened multiple times. I've been at events and had people show up and say, I've been following you for 2 years. I've been following your journey.
Yeah. And you're like, what?
This situation and that situation. And I'm just like sitting there going,
I had no idea.
I have no idea.
Yep. And you never know. That's why I say just post away. And who cares what anybody thinks? Because the fact is that you're resonating with somebody and you don't even know about it. And that's what's great about podcasts. There's people that subscribe to the show. You'll never even know about it.
Oh my goodness. So relevant, guys. If you don't understand why this is so relevant, because so many people go out and literally get into just wanting to get the likes and hearts. And guys, that's not how you build a sustainable business. We're talking about building the sustainable business. This is your epic year. Why? Because you came outside of your comfort zone. You stopped telling yourself no and started telling yourself yes, so that way you can make some real things happen. That's the transformation. So Sean, tell them a little bit about your personal transformation so they can understand how you got to where you are right now.
Oh, man. How much time do we got? So I'll run timeline it like very, very quickly. So born and raised in Detroit, mom and dad divorced when I was in first grade, kindergarten, first grade. And then my mom was remarried. And then from the time that I was in second grade all the way to seventh grade, physically abused, emotionally, mentally abused, me and my older sister completely abused. I remember fourth, fifth, and sixth grade going out and shoveling snow in Michigan because we didn't have any money, because he would take all the money. My mom worked almost 3 jobs. I remember her working 2 jobs for sure. I think there was a third in there somewhere. Just to make money, she'd hide money because he would go and take it. He'd hawk jewelry. He sold our bikes for drugs and alcohol. That's the environment that we grew up in. And so we got out of that and, joined the military after 9/11, joined the Air Force, and got into alcohol. And my life just there's things that I didn't deal with, as a child and as a teenager that really put my life into crap. Okay, let's just put it like that. 2008, my life is at an all-time low. My house had burned down, and I'm getting kicked out of the military because of my alcohol. And it comes to a point where they're like, look, you just need to go. And so in 2008, I actually put a gun in my mouth. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm out. I'm done. And, luckily family was there, and, coworkers and my military brothers, they pulled me out of the hole. They pulled me out of the hole in 2008. 2009, I became a drill instructor for Air Force basic training after getting much needed therapy, talking to chaplains, getting my life back on track. From 2009 to 2013, I was a drill instructor for Air Force basic training. And that's where I fell in love with speaking and training and mentoring. And that is where my life found value. I found value in giving somebody a piece of information. They go, oh yeah. And then they take that to the next level. That is where I derived success. And then from 2014 on to now, I became a master resilience trainer for the Air Force. And now I teach resilience skills all around to military people. Everywhere I go, I'm always teaching resilience. So 2014, I started that. 2015, I said, I'm going to be a professional speaker. I've been speaking already, high schools, colleges, I never got paid. I mean, sometimes I'm like, here's $500 or whatever. I never got paid. Right? 2015, I was like, I'm doing this thing. And so in 2016, I built my speaker business, and now I'm paid everywhere I go. And, it took me 3 years to define my market, to define my message, be comfortable in what I was delivering, who I was delivering it to, and why. And in 2017, started my radio show, Life Transformation Radio, and got my TEDx talk in 2017. And it's just been, 2018 was my best year ever. Best year ever. More people were impacted. I felt better. I lived better. My family was better. Like my whole life was better. And it literally is something about that 3-year mark. When you hit a 3-year mark, it's all of a sudden like things just start to like, and I attribute it to my show, my content marketing, the people who have been sowing seeds with, right? And doing the things necessary consistently and year over year over year. So if you want to live an epic life, here's what I'm going to tell you. You say yes and you figure it out. Don't make excuses. Just make results. Say yes and figure it out. When somebody says, hey, you want to be on my podcast? Yes. And then figure it out. If you're like, you know what I want to do? I want to do this. Then say yes and figure it out. Because if you don't, you'll make excuses. And you either make results or you make excuses in life.
I think that's that part where we get stuck. And, we're like, oh, but if I say yes, I have to do this. And then we try to plan it all out. Guys, you can't plan it all out.
Right. Day by day.
Not by any stretch of the imagination. You cannot plan it all out. And if you try to, you end up giving yourself a headache.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's fun to dream about the $1 million lottery, right? It's fun to dream about the lottery. It's fun to dream about, winning a big ticket item or whatever until you actually win or until somebody says, let's do this. And then you freak out because you don't have any systems or strategies in place. The thing is, when my dream was to deliver a TEDx talk, and I did. I delivered a TEDx talk. It was so funny because I was like, man, I really want to do this, and I really want to do this, and I really want to do this. And then they were like, okay, do this. And you're like, oh, crap. Like, now the hard part was over. Like, getting accepted was the hard part. Right? Now you just do what you always do. You deliver on stage, and you're amazing. The thing is, when you get that yes, you're like, crap, now I have to deliver. Now it's become real. Like, everyone wants to dream about that $340 million Powerball. Everyone wants to dream about that $1 billion Powerball and what they're going to do with that money until you get the winning lottery ticket and go, okay, now what are you going to do? You're like, crap. So
now it's like it's almost like you're watching people juggle and then somebody tosses you one of the balls and you're like,
right?
Now what do I do?
Yeah.
You figure
100%.
out how to juggle the ball. You figure it
out. You either make results or you make excuses.
That's it, through and through. So your journey has definitely been an amazing journey. And, I always ask every guest that comes on, because we have to understand that the reality is that no journey is perfect. There's going to be ups and downs, highs and lows. There's going to be some things that kind of rattle you and kind of try to deter you. But in this journey so far, have you had any blunders? Now, I've talked about all time. We talked about everything from wardrobe mishaps to issues with publishing the book and having your wording too small, all types of stuff. So have you had any blunders on this journey so far?
Every day. There's always something. But that's what's great, though, because you learn every day, right? You learn what not to do, right? Every day on my radio show, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this happened. Okay, now I know what to do because this happened. I fixed it. Now I'm good to go, right? So, there's always something. There's always something. And if you haven't found something, then you're not looking hard enough, because there's always something to improve on, right? There's always something to improve on. But every day, I like one of the events that I was speaking at, I thought I was doing good, whatever, and I was making all these like little jokes, whatever, and then like I ended the talk like every other like random speaker and like run of the mill speaker. I was like, I'm talking. I'm like, thank you, and it ended. Everybody was like, and like hardly anybody clapped. I got like 3 claps, I'm like, and I just ran off like Napoleon Dynamite. I'm like, what happened? And they're like, you totally didn't talk about anything you said you were going to talk about. Like, nobody understand anything that you were saying. And I was like, well, it sounded right in my head, But then I figured out that I know now I need to rehearse, I need to write down, I need to have systems. Like every time I failed at something, I looked at it as a learning experience and I put a system and strategy in place so I wouldn't do it again.
That's the part. That's the key part. Repeat
That's,
that right there.
Yep. Or you're just going to keep doing the same things over and over again. And you're going to keep getting the same result over and over again. So if you keep getting the same result no matter what you do, then you need to change up what you do. So I'm always learning. I learn from other speakers. I watch what other people are doing. Okay. I'm like, oh, that really works. And maybe that's not so much. And then I figure out, I'm like, yeah, it really work. I know what targeted result I want. That didn't quite get it. So never mind. I'm going to chuck it. Never mind. I'm going to chuck it. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to keep it in the toolbox. I have it right here, but I'm not going to use that. Maybe I'll pull it out every once in a while just to kind of repurpose it. But I stick with what works. I stick what I know is going to land, and I know what's going to work, and I double down on what's working, and I keep in behind the scenes the things that are not.
That makes so much sense, because we talked about earlier repurposing your content. And just because it didn't work now does not necessarily mean that in 5 years, 2 years, 6 months, that it may not work then.
Right, 100%.
That part, people, again, I tell people all the time, your content is cash. And so while you're out here playing around and leaving money on the table, you got people like Sean and I who are going and catching every bit of content and turning it into cash, because that's literally what you can do. With the podcasting, with interviews, with speaking, your books, all of these different opportunities that are right in front of you. And some of them are opportunities literally where it doesn't take a lot for you investing in them to get it started.
Right.
In order for you to start seeing that return on the investment. Like, you have to understand that there's going to be an investment. It's either going to be time, energy, or money.
Yep, 100%. And I honestly don't believe that you need to spend thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, on things that really nobody's going to notice anyways. Nobody noticed if you spent thousands of dollars on that free headliner video. Nobody knows if you spent thousands of dollars on this new camera that you got, but it was actually a hand-me-down from one of your boys that's a videographer and just gifted it to you. Like, nobody knows it. Like I told you before, like I get paid to speak, and and I'm going to a speak. Like, I already told you that, right? But nobody knows if you're at a speaking engagement. Honestly, nobody knows if you got paid for that or not. Now I wouldn't lie and be like, oh yeah, I got paid 10 grand. Like, I wouldn't lie, because literally social media is going to snuff you out. And if you lie, you're going to get sniffed out. In 2019, you're going to get stuffed out. And people like me, people like you, and the people who are the real deal make a habit of snuffing those people out, right? We will smoke you out in 2019 if you're not real, genuine, transparent, authentic. The way that we work, man, we will smoke you out. And it's just the way that it is. And I'm making a point, so anyway, I was saying, like, I got booked to speak and I'm getting paid, whatever, like, but nobody knows if you got paid to speak at this one event, so next month I have a free speaking engagement that I'm going to. Yes, I get paid $5,500. I get, but there's some engagements that, like Steve Olsh's event, I don't get paid for, but I'm so happy to do it because Steve Olsh is an amazing dude. I love his content. I love his event. It's about podcasting. I love podcasting. I meet awesome people. I book people on my shows. Like, there's not even, like, I can't think of one negative thing about doing that. I can't think of one. So when it makes sense and it's something that you really want to do, sometimes money isn't the objective, because if you're money driven, you're missing the point. The point is, I'm basically hanging out with a friend, right? Steve Olsh's, I'm hanging out with a friend, and Kelly and everybody there, right? I'm meeting other icons, which is awesome because I'm meeting other people. I'm networking, right? I'm learning, which is priceless. Somebody can pay me $5,000. I'm like, that's awesome. But if they give me $5,000 worth of knowledge, I could turn it into $15, $10, $20, $100,000. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm going to learn so much at this event that why would I want to get paid for it when I can take that knowledge and make a ton of money anyways? I meet people, they're on my show, so I'm filling guests. Like, yeah, expenses are paid. Got it. No money out of my pocket. That's cool. But literally, it's not even about that. It's about everything else that comes after the event, the year after the event, the months after the event. The people that I meet one day will come back and go, hey, I was on your show. I'd love to put you on my show. And then, it just spirals out from there. So, you need to figure out what you need to focus on. And it's not money. I'm telling you, money is a result of the seeds that you're sowing today.
That's always a struggle when you're talking about speakers, especially speakers, because everybody wants to be the paid speaker. Everybody wants to be the successful. They want to be at the Les Brown and Lisa Nichols level, and they don't realize that Les Brown still speaks for free.
Yep.
Lisa Nichols still speaks for free. Yes, they are still have opportunities that they speak for free, absolutely free.
100%.
You got to understand what does it really mean? And now, are they speaking at every event for free? No. But you gotta put it into perspective. And now you gotta go and now you gotta realize that this is a business.
Yep. But but you talk about investing though. You're investing though. Like I'm investing in like the free events. I'm still investing my time. I'm investing my energy. I'm investing my full self into, learning everything I can from that event and meeting people and leveraging those networks, leveraging those contacts, leveraging everything that happens. The social media proof of me on stage at this one event, that's social media proof. Me talking about something amazing, right? For like 3 minutes could be repurposed into a 30-second clip on YouTube, a 30-second clip on Snapagram or InstaChat, whatever the hell they're called. You could have, somebody will get that on the way home. Somebody will get that. But so I'm taking those clips, right, of me on stage, and I'm repurposing it into other content, which is social media proof, right? And so I become the subject matter expert with authority and credibility in everything that I'm doing, because I'm showing you and I'm documenting and I'm telling you exactly what needs to happen during those times. If you listen to any of my content, by any of my videos, I'm not like rah fluff. You know what I mean? I'm not like, hey, you got to do this. No, I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is I'm like, no BS, no fluff. And that's the name of my book, No BS, No Fluff, because I don't believe in coaching you and motivating you. Like, listen, do this or don't do it. Succeed or fail. That's your choices. I don't have time to worry about, does this make you feel good or not. I don't care about your feelings. What I care about is if I give you a piece of content and you don't act on it, and then you complain why it didn't work out for you, well, you didn't take action. And if you take massive action, that will yield massive results.
That's it. Now, we talked about transformation and thinking about the transformation that you've gone through from when you first started until now. Let's talk about the ease of which now you have access. One of the things I talked about in a recent book, I just submitted literally yesterday, just submitted for a new book that'll be out. And I said, you have access. Access has been granted. You have no excuse now. So in looking at what it meant to be a speaker 5, 10, 15 years ago,
oh gosh,
the access you have now, talk about that a little bit.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine building a business 20 years ago when let's think about this. 20 years would have been what, 90s? So you're looking at 99, something like that. Let's go back. I remember Windows 95. I literally distinctly, I was in school. Computers were they were coming online like a thing. Like everybody had a computer. Wolfenstein and Duke Nukem were like the video games of then, and Sim City and like all that stuff, right? And then AOL was coming online, and that's what was happening, right? I can't even imagine trying to build a speaker business by opening up the yellow pages and just dialing people. I literally, that seems so basic now. I don't even know if they still deliver telephone books to your front door. I cannot imagine without the internet and the reach that you have. I can't imagine. I don't know. I can't imagine doing business. But people like Les Brown and Zig Ziglar and John Maxwell and, the names that are still thriving today, they flourished. Dale Carnegie and, everybody that came before him. They flourished in the 40s, 50s, 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s. That's what they did. That was their playground, right? Writing a book, getting it published, getting known. You didn't have an email address. You know, like back in the 50s, like you'd have an email address. You know, they couldn't just email you. Like it was all snail mail stuff, right? So you drive to different cities and you make connections and you network with people and there's events and it just, that's, you know, word of mouth was king. That was currency, was word of mouth and referrals and getting your name out there. Business cards, and I mean, who carries business cards anymore?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They have apps. They have apps where you can literally take a picture of a person's business card and then goes into your phone. Like, you know, and then you throw the business card away.
Exactly.
You know, like, you know, and it's just like, I cannot imagine doing business like they did now. Like, it can't happen. The transformation that has taken place where you can take an average nobody with barely any content or whatever, who writes a book, starts a podcast, and all of a sudden skyrockets himself to the top, life-changing. And that's the power that we have in 2019. There's literally no excuse.
That's it. I tell people all the time, it's a business cards make me itch.
So they're one sheets. I'm telling you right now, I can't even be more dead serious. One sheets are a complete freaking waste of time. I don't care what anybody said. Now, me and there's a friend of mine, Lois Kramer. Lois Kramer is probably one of the foremost experts on speaking that I know. Like literally, Lois Kramer. I'm going to plug her because she is absolutely phenomenal. Her book called Book More Business. Absolutely the speaking Bible of building a profitable speaking business. Just saying. Buy her book, Book More Business by Lois Kramer. She is NSA for like 25 years or whatever it is, National Speakers Association. Anyway, her and I go back and forth on this. I'm like, one sheet's a waste of time. She goes, stop it. She loves the one sheet. She says everybody should have a one sheet. I think one sheets are a waste of time. I would love to know how many one sheets get left at a table during an event. Nobody picks them up. Nobody reads them. Nobody uses them. But here's what happens. I get probably 5 or 6 emails a week, sometimes 2 a day, that say, oh my God, love your show. I have a guest. And it's like 6 paragraphs long with a bio, headshots, one sheets, all this other stuff. And it says at the bottom, publicist. You know what the first thing I do to that email? Delete. The first thing I do is delete the email. If it's from a publicist and it has a one sheet and a bio in it and everything else, I automatically delete it. I don't even read them. So if you're listening, I delete your email. Here's why.
He just gave you the disclaimer. He deleted your email.
I deleted your email. Here's why. Not an authentic relationship was being built. Not one was being built in any of those emails. You didn't say, oh my gosh, you know what? I love your speaker podcast, or hey, I love your speaker Facebook Live that you and Sean did. Oh my gosh, do I have a guest for you? This guy has built a multi-million-dollar speaking business. I think that you should interview him. If you want me to connect you, I'll connect you. That is how authentic relationships happen. That I will answer an email, text message, phone call, Facebook message, whatever. If you message me in any way and say, oh my God, I have this guest and here's all their crap, and it's from a publicist, delete. Here's why. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, like 50 times. All you're doing is throwing spaghetti at the wall. I want to build authentic relationships. I don't care if somebody's publicist who's built $1 billion company, it better be Jeff Bezos, but I don't care if they built $1 billion company. If you email me saying there's a guy who built $1 billion, I haven't read your email because I look at it's super long. There's a one sheet and a whole bunch of crap attached to it, and it says publicist at the bottom. Delete. Automatically delete.
Yeah, you got to understand the market.
Again, I build authentic relationships. Period.
You have such. That's just like people are still, people are like, oh, well, I can do speaker reels and I can do this and I can do that. And that's understandable and that's great. But guess what? You can also go live on Facebook and somebody can see and hear you speak.
100%.
On a regular basis.
Yep. Facebook Live's a stage.
Things change.
You and I are on stage right now.
Exactly.
You and I are on stage. If you think of social content as you're always, especially as a speaker, you're always on stage. On a podcast, you're on stage. On a Facebook Live, you're on stage. If you are right now, you and I are on stage. This is what we do.
through and through on a regular basis. And then that leads us with the last piece that we'll talk about is that consistency.
Yeah, 100%.
Because without that consistency, you're not going to build a tribe or a community. You're not going to have followers. It's that consistency.
100%. Yep. If you are not authentic, transparent, and genuine, you're not going to win. Period. You're not going to win.
So this has been a phenomenal episode. I'm so excited that you said yes, Sean. I'm so excited that you said yes.
How could I say no to you? Come on. How could I say no to you?
I'm like, we could sit here and talk all day, and then they would be saying, why is this episode so long?
And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this? Is you and I met over a year ago.
Exactly.
We met at the very first New Media Summit that was in like September or October of 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2017. And just now are we getting on a Facebook Live and talking about speaking and reconnecting. You see what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like we met yesterday and here we are. Like, it doesn't work that way. The world doesn't work that way. You know what really makes me mad is that people want the results, but they don't want to work for it. That's what's irritating. They want the results, but they don't want to work for it. They want the six-pack abs, but they don't want to go to the gym. They want to lose weight, but they don't want to go to the gym. They want to be a paid keynote speaker for $5,500 or $10,000 or $20,000, but they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to put in the time and effort that it takes. You know, I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning working on things, and I'm going to bed and waking up at 6 a.m. to go to work or do whatever. Like, I'm putting in the time. My wife gets mad at me all the time. I was like, you know what? I could be deployed. I could be deployed somewhere in the military, but I'm not. I'm at home recording a podcast, recording some content, making ebooks, making online courses, or whatever I'm doing. I'm at home. Yeah, but you're not here. Now, I hear you, but I really couldn't be here if I was in like Jordan or in the Middle East or like somewhere in Korea somewhere. You know what I mean? I could be in Syria right now, but I'm not. So
it's a big difference.
Big difference.
Huge difference.
But,
I know
but
for my
you
children,
need to put in the work.
They see that difference. As a single mother, they see that difference hugely. I'm home, working from home. I'm looking over because I have to take my oldest daughter, her instrument that she left at home. But I can do that. Why? Because I work from home.
Yep, 100%. Time freedom. That's what matters most.
That's it. So let them know how they can. First of all, we talked about the book like this much, but let them know where they can find the book and how they can get in contact with you.
Yep, 100%. So I'm only on Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't do any other social media programs. I only do Facebook and LinkedIn, so that's where I'm at. My website is www.thesuccesscore, C-O-R-P-S, thesuccesscore.com, and at the top of the tab it'll say book, and the speaker ebook is called the No BS No Fluff Guide of Getting Booked to Speak. That book will transform your life. If you worry about where can I find speaking engagements, how do I get booked, I've taken my whole entire process and I've written it down inside of a book. I have a testimonial that somebody booked a speaking engagement the day they bought the book. The day they bought the book. This book is the guide to getting booked to speak consistently. And it's only $47.
That's it. Look, get the information that you need.
Yep.
That's what it's about. Getting the information, digesting the information, and actually using the information. Execution.
Yep. You invest or you can stay where you are.
Exactly. Definitely. And we're all about growing and growth. Guys, you know what this is? This is the Speakeasy Podcast. And this is what we do. We talk about the behind the scenes. We talk about the real stuff when it comes to being the speaker, the author, and the successfully paid speaker and author. Because guess what? It's a lot of people that have 1,000 copies of their book in their garage.
Yep. And we're definitely behind the scenes because I'm sitting here at Atlanta Airport. Like, stuck at Atlanta Airport, you know, because flights are delayed. So
exactly, I'm like crossing my fingers that tomorrow my flight to LA is not.
I should be in Shreveport, Louisiana, but it's delayed. So
I'm like crossing my fingers, like, please don't let my flight be delayed tomorrow, please.
Right.
Oh my goodness, super excited though, guys. You know, if you are a speaker and author, I would love to have you on. Come tell us your journey, your story, and empower the Speakeasy podcast listeners by going to bit.ly/Speakeasy podcast, all lowercase. And for those of you who loved today's episode, or maybe you didn't like it at all, we want to know. Leave us a review over on iTunes by going to bit.ly/Speakeasy podcast show. Guys, I am your host, Altavis Pelzer, the voice coach. I am super excited. Thank you guys for coming. And until next time, guys, don't forget to press it out. See ya.